So tonight, I'm going to share with you one very important topic, which is managing careers and retention. I prefer to use my experience. Yeah, I posted in the slide. I started as a teacher in high school. I was a teacher in Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tandik, Kota Marudu in 1992-1995. By the way, I graduated in 1990, December 1990, and I go for, I don't do anything for 1 year. Honeymoon, not to kira ya, honeymoon 1991. Then I only bother to find a job in 1992. Those were the day when we have problem with economy, unemployment. Yeah, so I became a teacher, temporary teacher in 1992. I taught mathematics and English language. So very interesting start of my career. And when people ask us, when people ask me, what is our career actually? What is your career? Now I'm asking you all, especially those senior from me. I believe many are senior from me. I think one or two, and then those who already being employed. What is your understanding about job and career? Is there any difference between job and career? So basically, of course, there is a difference, job and career. Some people, they change job, but they don't have career. Some people, they stick to one job and they have career. In my case, after working employed in many jobs, then I have my career. If you ask me what is my career is academician. Okay, this is my career. I start my career as a teacher. Okay, 1992 to 95. I started my career as a teacher. Teacher is educationist. Yeah, educationist. And then I'm working at SETCO, Sabah Economic Development Corporation. I was attached to SETCO West Holdings Sdn Bhd as business development executive. When I was in Mokis, I was the first branch manager of Sabah. I just, when Mokis opened its branch in Sabah, I am the first Sabahan manager. I'm the first manager appointed. That time, the franchisor is the mantan YB Datuk Suhail Rahman from Labuan. And then I did not stay long. A lot of interesting story about Mokis. Yeah, I quit the post as branch manager, and then I joined SETCO, and I was attached to SETCO West Holdings Sdn Bhd, looking after SETCO properties as in SETCO West Holdings Sdn Bhd. So I with the contractors, Sunhin Contractors, developer of Wisma SETCO Sun Plaza, every week I go to the building, get completed, very scary things and so on. The difference of job I'm talking about, yeah, mortgage is not about building, then SETCO is about assets. But then in SETCO, when I attached to SETCO West Holdings Sdn Bhd, I took care about this program Usahawan Muda. Program Usahawan Muda. During 1997, 1999, we have this Kementerian Pembangunan Keusahawanan Malaysia. Yeah, the first minister is Tokpah, Datuk Mustafa Muhammad at the time, and then Datuk Idris Jusu. So that is when I really actually go to the entrepreneurship, business development. You see the difference. I'm actually, even though I'm describing my experience, but what I want to point out to you all, the different jobs that I attended before my career, I could develop my career as academician. And then in 1999, 2006, I was asked by the minister that time to be his secretary lah. I joined I became secretary to the minister, yeah, for Sabah minister 1999 to 2006. You see the difference of job that I ventured in, the difference of job throughout my career. And in 2006, the second vice chancellor, Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Noh Dalimin, okay, took me as the from state government. I quit state government because that was the time that job is actually political appointed. So I joined UMS, become UMS employees lah. And then as the special officer to the vice chancellor. After the vice chancellor finished his term as vice chancellor, I became I stick to my position, assistant registrar, yeah? And only in 2009, after I completing my MBA, I decided to join academic job career. So I became tutor, and then I was sent straight doing my PhD in USF, University of Malaysia. So that is about the journey that I had in my life, from a teacher into a lecturer. So when people ask me what is my career, I will say my career is academician. The reason because in between teacher and lecturer, I actually stayed longer in the academic career, academic job, since 2006 until today, 2021. So this is how we actually identify what is our career. And usually we identify, sometimes when we are not fit in our career, that is when we look for other job. So if you are still 30, where I'm 52 years old, if you are still 30 years old, 40 years old, yeah, and come to your mind that you want to change your job, that is because you are not yet in your career yet. Okay? You are not yet in your career yet. Different from myself and of course some of our your colleagues here, we already reached the age where we reach our career maturity stage. So for me, I already at that stage, and I'm waiting for 8 more years to reach 60 years old, hopefully still alive. So my career is academician. So in between, the second thing I want to share with you all, in between the transition of my employment, of my jobs, I put the retention. If you notice, retention. I'm trying to highlight that when I change my job, there is no effort by the employer to stop me from, quitting the job. The reason because I actually voluntarily want to quit the job. This is what we call turnover. Yeah, turnover is when the employees voluntarily quit the job. So if the employees voluntarily quit the job, that is where a company is considered having a turnover. If more employees quit, so that means high turnover. So this high turnover reflects something that there is something wrong with it. So basically, when there are many employees quit from particular organization, it indicates high turnover, meaning to say something wrong with the organization, either the or the profit of the company lah is not good. So throughout my experience, from teacher, of course lah, teacher is only temporary. So I want to another job which I think during the time suitable to my degree. By the way, I graduated from West Texas A&M University, Texas. Yeah, my degree is public administration. Those were the days during early 90s, during 80s. Yeah, public administration is is one of the popular degree. At that time, if people, especially in Malaysia, I'm referring to Sabah, if you're taking public admin, it seems that like you want to be district officer, pegawai kerajaan. But nowadays, public administration is no longer popular except in ITM, UITM. But the rest of university, we hardly hear about public administration degree. Yeah? So I'm from that group, that field, public administration. That is why I think because of that degree, I am very suited to state government. The second longest job is state government for how many years? 7 years. I think more about 8 years, 7 years. And based on the historical of my jobs, that is the second work which I serve longer. So meaning to say, it has something to do with my degree, public administration. But of course, at the end of the day, I believe based on my passion, based on my, my hobby, my apa tu kalau orang cakap ni keseronokan, yes. I like research. So research is about academician. Okay, so sorry sharing too much with you, but actually when I share this with you, this is the gist. Okay, this is the gist of this chapter. Okay, this is the gist of this chapter about managing careers and retention, in which actually career development or managing career is about the relationship between employer and employee. Okay, it is about psychological contract between employer and employee. To manage career, we need employer. To manage career, we need employee. So basically, manage handling between employer and employee. If the employee is not close with the employer, he is not going to anyway. Yeah, stick to the old post and not promoted anyway. But if the employee has good relationship with the employer, he will fly to, to be promoted to the higher level and so on very quick. So the conclusion is managing career is about a good relationship between employee and employer. So this is a very good thesis. Yeah, actually, if you plan to do to scout for problem statement, I share it with you a good phrase. Managing career is about the relationship between employees and employers. Okay. So the rest of this chapter is the theoretical. Okay, but before that, I want to share with you the framework of my thesis. I did. This is my PhD thesis framework. Yeah, I did my PhD in Human Resource Management. That is my field in University Science Malaysia, Penang, in School Management. School Management, University Science Malaysia is one of the top school in Malaysia. Yeah, and when we talk about School of Management, USM, that is one of the best school in Malaysian public university. So I did continue and completed my PhD in that school. We call it School of Management, Pusat Pengajian Pengurusan. So this is the framework of my thesis. In this thesis, I tried for almost 5 years lah. Imagine, yeah, I don't have any proposal. I changed my career, my job from from administrator into academician. Straight away, UMS sent me to do my PhD. I don't have any proposal. I do my PhD blindly. But Alhamdulillah, I managed to go over all the obstacle, and finally I completed my PhD. So my topic, this is relevant to this topic tonight lah, very relevant. I'm not sharing my PhD with you all simply because this is my PhD. No, it is related to managing careers and retention. Yeah. So my topic of PhD is the intention to become academician, the relationship between passion, role model, perceived workplace flexibility, and career decision-making self-efficacy. That is my topic. The problem that I found is that many people will not stay long in their career because they don't have the passion. They don't have the right role model to follow. And then they are not, have pleasant attitude with their working environment. And then I also use mediator, careers in making self-efficacy, because why I use this mediator? Because the context of my study is on the academic environment. So in academic environment, we need to think, we need to have this dimension of thinking. We need to be able to, to gain occupational information, and so on. I'm not going to be very detailed. So basically, the above one, this one is my conceptual framework. After I distributed my data to, so where did I distributed my data? So I go to 4 public universities all over Malaysia. When I did counseling, in Malaysia we have 20 public universities. In these 20 public universities, we have 3 types of public university in Malaysia. The first type is what we call comprehensive university. Comprehensive university, they focus on teaching. So during my time in what year is this? 2011. During my time, comprehensive university, there are 4 universities: UMS, UNIMAS, UIA, and UITM. So these are the 4 comprehensive university which focus on teaching. And we have 5 research university: USM, UTM, UKM, UPM. So these 5 universities, they focus on research. Yeah? And then we have 11 technical university yang dulunya college yang diangkat menjadi university. So these 11 universities are what we call focus universities. So in Malaysia, we have 3 types of university. 4 comprehensive university concentrate on teaching. 5 research university concentrate on research. The third one is 11 university concentrate on technical thing, on technical. So in my study, I found that not many students, when they graduated, willing to become lecturer. Because when we talk about academician lecturer, we need someone who like to do research. So basically, in order to produce lecturers to support Malaysia high ambition to be top ranking in the world, we need to recruit as many as possible academicians who like to do research. So I'm choosing comprehensive university because students in comprehensive university, their focus is on teaching. So by inculcating the ideas of research, by embedding the ideas of research to this group of comprehensive university, of course, there are more lecturers. There are more potential lecturers from comprehensive units. You see, this is how actually we do sampling. When we do sampling, later on, you all need to learn about sampling method. We are not simply choosing university and they are our respondent. No, that is not the way. When we choose respondent, there is a reason behind it why we choose particular group. So I choose comprehensive university because I believe that students in comprehensive university, they will not look at potential becoming a lecturer as their career, as the job. So that's why I focus. So that it solves the problem of our nation to increase the numbers of lecturers who can do research so that our university ranking will be going up, will go up, for example. So that is how we do. So what I'm trying to say here is that when we enter any job, when we enter and then going into the career, we actually need passion in our passion. Yeah? And this passion, based on my research, I found, of course, my references is from previous literatures. There are two types of passion, yeah? Obsessive and harmonious. Harmonious and obsessive. How do we differentiate between these two? Some workers, employees, when they work at office, yeah, they tend to work overtime. But why they want to work overtime? We ask them again. And basically, what the reason why they want to work overtime, there are two reasons. One reason because they are very dedicated. They want to complete the assignment or the task, don't want to carry it next day. So this is okay. But the other group is because they want to earn extra money. So in between these two groups, dedication and earn extra money, which one is harmonious, which one is obsessive? Okay, you answer your answer. In my opinion, those who want to earn extra money, that is obsessive. Okay, that obsessive. There is a proverbs: work never ends. Work always continues. So that is the nature of when we, especially in public, public sector lah. Yeah, work never ends. What we do today will not end today. It's going to continue tomorrow. So if you are harmonious, you stop at 5 o'clock, go back home, mingle with your family, continue, wake up early tomorrow and go to the office. That is harmonious. Obsessive, they want to stay, to earn, and so on. But I'm not saying all types of career, yeah? I just referring to public sector, yeah, public sector, because that is the nature. And I'm referring to the specific department, not all, yeah? And role model, based on my research, I found that there are two types of role model. The first one is inspirational role model. The second one is supportive role model. How do we differentiate between these two role models? Inspirational role model, for example, when we look at Tun Mahathir Mohamad. Tun Mahathir Mohamad is a very prominent figure in politics. Even though I haven't had chance to talk to him, but I adore him too much. That is inspirational leader. But Dr. Mahathir Mohamad is not supportive role model because I haven't got any, interaction with him that caused me to be motivated. So this is the difference. So role model sometimes in the context of organization, yeah, among our senior colleagues, later I will explain about mentor. Among our senior colleagues, of course, there are group of or individual who we can call as supportive role model, and there is inspirational role model. So in the close context of working environment, look for your supportive role model. Okay, engage with them. This is what we call mentor. Okay, mentor. Later, I will also share with you about coaches. Coaches and mentors, they are different. There is one term in working space nowadays, very popular. We call it ergonomics. Sorry if you have drink, please have a drink. Kalau ada kuih raya, makan dulu ya, raya and so on. Are you still there? Semua masih ada di situ kah?
Ada.
Ada, Dokter.
Still here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I talk to human, not to the laptop. Yeah. So, di mana sudah tadi ya? Ergonomics. Last month, okay, this is one in my true story lah experience. I like to use experience when teaching, when sharing with students. Not last month, last year, I submitted a proposal to my friend from UKM, lecturer in UKM. So my friend expertise is on ergonomics. Okay, ergonomics. My expertise is in human resource management, please remember. So my friend, he was submitted a proposal to NIOS. You know NIOS, Datuk Lee Lam Tai, NIOS. Submitted proposal to NIOS on how actually we can, make sure the working space, there is ergonomic there. Ergonomic is being practiced there. So that ergonomics mean we are putting tools, we are putting materials, we are putting things at the place where it is safe. It will not hit the human. So that the atmosphere, the working condition, the working space, the people health, people will not get accident and so on. So people just concentrate on the productivity because the layout of the office has been ergonomically put in place. So that is ergonomic. So last month, last month or last 2 weeks, my friend is the group leader for that proposal. I only the members, and my background is human resource. His background is ergonomics. Okay, fine. The committee members asked a question to my friend. Why do you pick members who are not from ergonomic background? Actually, I already prepared a question like this, and I told my friend, it is just that my friend is not as confident as me lah. If I am the person who are going to be questioned by the panel, I believe we managed to get the grant. But my friend ni dia sikit lah, dia slow sikit. So the panel said, how come you select my name lah, Dr. Zakaria Mulyamis, to be your members? His background is not on economics. Okay, fine. So because of that, we received a comment yesterday. We did not make it lah. So if I were, representing the our group, I would say like this: in order for us to make sure ergonomic is in place, we need expert in human resource, because ergonomic is not going to be ergonomic if human resource element is not there. It's like macam kita buat kuih lah, macam we want to we want to cook something. Lebih kurang begitu. I don't know how to explain, but that is the point I want to make.
One question, doctor.
Okay, please.
Are you referring you're saying about agronomic? This is agriculture?
No. Agronomic is agriculture.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This one is ergonomic.
Agronom. Oh, I see. Okay.
Not agro. Thank you very much. Not agronomic. Agronomic is agriculture. This ergonomics, the arts of putting material, tools, thing in the office so that we can avoid accident and so on. So basically, that is what I want to say to you, that in managing career, in my research, we need passion, we need right role model, we need a good workplace flexibility. Okay. Wah, sorry lah, panjang pula saya punya intro, baru mau masuk learning objectives. Okay. So in this chapter, there are 6 learning objectives, yeah. But for your information, indirectly, I already sum up all the 6 objectives in my introduction. So the first one is the ideas of, as I said, career management is about managing career is about the relationship between employer and employee. So in order to successfully manage the career, you see, the reason why employer need to make sure the career management of the employee is in place because we want to produce employees who are fully engaged to the objective of the organization. That is the reason why. So it's not, so that is the reason, that is the strong reason why employer need to make sure that the career management of the employees is in place. Because if the employees confident, feel excited, feel motivated like that, at the end of the day, they will make sure the productivity of the organization will increase. So this is the gist why career development is not a one-way thing. Yeah, it's not about the employees. It's also about the employer. There is a unwritten agreement, the psychological contracts between employer and employee. When we have this, when the employer plan the career planning of the career development of the employees. Okay. At the end of the day, we want the employees to be engaged in their work so that they become, they can assist toward achievement of the goals and objective of the organization. So career management, career development, career planning, these are the terms in which you need to understand in order to, to fully understood the chapter on managing career. Career management is about how career is managed by the companies. Career development is the lifelong series of activity throughout the stay in particular organization. There are courses, the employees were rotated. These are all actually the the preparation of entering to the next level or to the different level in different departments. This is what we call career development. Career planning is more toward the employee themselves, how actually they want to direct their direction in the organization. So if they feel they want to enter different department, they need to learn some practical skills and so on. So these are the basic theory. And nowadays, you see, I mentioned about psychological contract. One of the famous phrase nowadays is work-life balance. Okay, this phrase work-life balance is very popular in literature review. Work-life balance is for example, work-life balance. For example, the employer permit the employee to go out to fetch their children, for example. This is how actually employer provide the work-life balance to the employees. They permit the employees to go out to fetch their children at school, for example. And maybe at the end of the month, the employees forget to settle their income tax or their do their road tax and so on. And then these employees will see the boss and ask the boss for permission to complete to do the road tax and so on. So this is what we call this is how actually work-life balance coming into place, yeah. Because of course when people or when employees feels at home at office, yeah, feel at home at office, I think they are going to be more productive. This is general rule lah, but not all stick to that philosophy. So work-life balance, sometimes people relate it to the flexible schedule, flexible work schedule and so on, work-life balance. There is a theory, Holland personality. This theory saying that if you want to become a lecturer, you must be one of the personality as in the diagram here, in the what we call this polygon, hexagon. Okay, if you want to become lecturer, you must has creator, for example, creator personality. And if you want to be a banker, if you want to be a banker, you must, I don't know which one, because I haven't tried that career yet. For example, so this is the personality by Holland. There is another theory, Big Five personality. We call it Big Five personality. This Big Five personality, it has 5 dimensions: extraversion, openness to experience, what else? There are 5: openness, extraversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and I forgot the other one. So basically, all this theory of personality, what people use when people explaining about career. Yeah, well, I like to point this out to you all, because when you do your dissertation later on, you need a theory. You need a theory in order to relate all the variables in your thesis or dissertation later on. So theory is a driver. Without a theory, your research is not going anywhere. So theory is about the driver of your research. So it's good to know this Holland personality. Maybe later on, who knows, you want to do research on career. So in this slide, I try to point out that it is in the mindset. It is in the mindset of employer. The minute that they think that somebody, okay, when they do the recruitment, the minute that when they hire somebody, they is supposed to predict all the way which direction that new employees is going to be. That is supposed to be like that. If the employer just pick up somebody to become the employee of organization without that thinking, that means you are hiring somebody without any purpose. See, this is the ideas of this slide lah. Okay, the minute you look that somebody fit to your organization, basically you already plan his career development. Otherwise, if you did not plan the career development, that means you just fulfill the, the general role, recruit. Okay, because if you have this feeling, this kind of feeling, at the end of the day, you are actually gathering the talented employees. Okay, so throughout that process, you do some job rotation. And then when you do the appraisal, it is not about appraisal their performance down. Performance appraisal is not about you want to choose people perform or not perform. That is not the only objective. This is based on my experience. Actually, when we do performance appraisal, we actually want to know what actually this particular employee is fit in. And then it's supposed to be after we do the performance appraisal, we actually can suggest to the management, if we are the, the appraiser, we can suggest to the organization, Mr. Sam here is a very dedicated person, but if we cannot promote him to that particular the vacancy, actually we can switch his his place to the other department. And when we switch him to this department, we need to incur his salary, for example, because she or Sam is performing. Okay, this is how actually in the aspect of human resource, how we use the performance appraisal, not only to fill the blank position, but actually we want to fine tune which position that our employees really fit into. Because of course throughout the years from recruitment, first year, second year, and so on, we realize that one of the reasons why our organization productivity is not going up because of misplacement of our talented employees. So performance appraisal should be looked at fine-tuning the employees to the right position. All right. So basically, this is the ideas of how actually employers comes into managing the career of the employees. So in this slide, I'm just referring that this is how we, we manage the career by having some workshop. This is more on the career development, career coaches, and so on. Because of course nowadays we have technology coming in. We have IR 4.0 and so on. Of course, that development the employees need to learn. So we as employer, we must equip the latest knowledge to our employees. Mentoring and coaching, I indirectly touched about mentoring just now. Mentoring is actually when we have, pairing, especially the new employees lah, with the senior. So, and throughout the years, mentoring is still relevant, and the all mentor can still be the mentor, because it is not about showing how work need to be done. It's not about motivating others, but it is about, like my research, role model. Okay, role model. In my research, I found that role model should be a good mentor. Yeah. This mentor, this role model must have the characteristic of mentoring, able to mentoring the role model. Coaching is, of course, the particular know-how, particular knowledge. So we need to have a good colleague who can coach. So coaching and mentoring can be the same person, and it also can be not the same person. Okay, employee engagement. Okay, the key ideas is why this employee managing career is the relationship between employee and employee. The ideas is to make sure that employee engagement, loyal, sense of belonging, and so on. Yeah. Turnover, I also mentioned in between my career, my perjalanan kerjaya tu kan, I quit, I turn over. And turnover is not involuntary, turnover is voluntary. So when we, when we do recruitment, actually, yeah, when we do recruitment, we should also think about this turnover thing, yeah, turnover thing, because turnover is about employees, and those turnover, most of them are good employees. Okay, now this is partly true lah. Most employees who turn over actually the key person to the organization. I use example for in the hotel industry, okay, hospitality industry. For example, good employees of Hyatt, Hotel Hyatt, and then this new hotel, Hilton, last 3 years or opened its hotel in KK. All the good employees in Hyatt, for example, I make up the story. Yeah, this is not true. I just want to share and to show you the example. So these good employees in Hyatt, they move to Hilton. Why they move to Hilton? Because Hilton and Hyatt is at par in terms of the rating of the hotel internationally. So why they want to move to Hilton? Because they want new environment. And then why they move to Hilton? Maybe in Hyatt they don't have increment of salary anymore. So this the group, this group of Hyatt employees, that the employer need to to tackle so that they will run away. Remember, the minute we have key employees, we actually spend so many so much amount of money to enable them to reach at that level. So the minute they turn over, it is a big loss to the present organization. So employer need to look at this lah. Need to look at this. So in order to to minimize that loss, they must get other employees ready to be key employees. So this is why what we mentioned in the slide, talent management strategy. Don't forget to groom key employees. Don't just rely on one employee. Okay, otherwise, okay, this slide very interesting. Of course, you all familiar with exit interview, but stay interview is new to me. Stay interview, actually not new to me lah, but new to you, yeah, because I have been teaching this subject for ages. So, what is the stay interview? What is exit interview? These are the two occasions whereby stay interview is actually the strategy of organization, yeah, the strategy of organization. For example, the example I use Hayat just now, yeah, one of the key employees. So we include these key employees in a group in the program, and we conduct stay interview with them. So based on stay interview, then they will say they will tell the management what they want the organization to rearrange things so that they will not run away. So this is the purpose of the interview, to avoid our employees from losing our good employees to other organization. But exit interview is the interview where our employees are ready to exit from the organization because of the age or because of the volunteer separation scheme and so on. Okay, very interesting. Stay interview versus exit interview. Job withdrawal. I think I remember sharing with you all the terms presentism. Presentism versus absenteeism. Actually, absenteeism is one of my research lah. I produce a paper on presentism and absenteeism. What is presentism? Presentism, more or less, is job withdrawal. What is presentism? Okay, the office hours 8 to 5. Between 8 to 5, how long actually, by random, how long actually a particular employee really do the task? So I think not everyone is a robot. Yeah, not everyone is a robot. But it is obvious to see employees to be in the office, but they don't do anything. They just write down about this Saturday I want to go to Kondasang. They just work with computer, tak. This is not the way of doing graphic. Padahal dia punya kerja bukan grafik. So these are the element of job withdrawals leading to presentism. If presentism higher in any organization, that organization is not going to stay long. Yeah. We don't talk about public institution. Public institution, presentism still okay. Private companies, for example, yeah. Hotel industry, for example, if they did not do marketing, then other hotel will be more popular than them. So they are losing the customer and so on. So presentism is a kind of job withdrawal. Yeah? Okay, life cycle, career management, promotion. Okay lah. Transfer, managing transfer and return. Why it is necessary? Why it is necessary for transfer to take place? This is very good question lah. Why transfer is necessary? Okay, if I look at transfer as necessary in the positive perspective, yeah, in the positive perspective, transfer mean we, in the perspective of employees, transfer mean we learn new skills, we gain new knowledge, we learn new experience. At the end of the day, we become an employees with wide wide capabilities. So at the end of the day, we are going to be the key person in the organization. So that is the way I look at transfer. So transfer basically is we need to pay attention on doing transfer in our organization. Yeah? But the other terms used in transfer when we have branches lah, branches. But I'm not referring to branches. I am referring to a particular employee transfer from marketing department to account department, for example. This is in which this is part of the career management, career management. But sometimes employees look at it as as a sign of being unwanted. Okay, but I'm not saying it is wrong. It is right. It depends on the case. Yeah, case of the relationship between employees and employers. Okay, so in this chapter about managing careers and retention, we also talk about dismissal. Dismissal ini is the last thing employer have to do. Okay, it is necessary to do dismissal in order to to cut the cancer, from spreading. I mean the bad attitude from spreading. So dismissal is important, but to do the dismissal, there is ground, there is way, there is procedure. Cannot simply dismiss your unwanted employees. And then when we dismiss employees, we should not dismiss the employees without paying him or her. This is what we call severance pay. The minute we dismiss employees, we must, as a manager, as an employer, we must know how much to pay the damage to the employees. We cannot just dismiss and that's it. We must, how bad he is or she is, we must have severance pay. So you read about severance pay. Number 4, severance pay. It's very important in terms of, because we want to avoid any, court order later on. If the employee is going to pay to fight for the right for being dismissed and so on, the suit lah. Yeah. So basically, this one is easy to understand. Yeah, how actually we terminate. There is interview process. Cannot simply just terminate. Okay. Okay. Sometimes people quit or turn over, or not turn over. People quit because of people being dismissed, or BSS, BSS, Volunteer Separation Scheme, because of the downsizing and merger. In this ideas of downsizing and merger, of course, there are people, there are employees are going to be let go. Okay, so as management, as employer, we don't have to think about those who we let go, because that is history. But we must think of those who are staying. How can we, motivate them to still maintain their passion in work after they see their friend who were being dismissed and so on, were being, quit, VSS method and so on lah. So when we do downsizing or merger, it is actually the managers, the employers need to think of those who are staying, because when we did downsizing, of course, the organization becomes smaller. When the organization becomes smaller, how we can make sure that productivity is increased? So in order to make sure productivity will increase, we need to motivate those who stay. Okay, so basically that is what we need to look at different angle when we do downsizing and merger. It's not about caring about those who leave us, but how to motivate those who are staying, because these are actually those who are going to make sure that our organization will, spurs back. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for tonight. I think I have been story too much. Yeah. Hopefully, my sharing, even though it's not to your expectation, but as usual, I try to bring out something new every night when I share my little knowledge, my little experience with you all. I reached the last of my slide for tonight. So I think there is no question lah kan? What time now? Sekarang sudah pukul 8.20.